Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make the long form dress you saw in the thumbnail. Get up on the floor, dancing all night long. Get up on the floor, dancing to the break of dawn. Get up on the floor, dancing to the break of... For the materials, I will be using yeye yarn. This is lightweight, hence I'll be doubling the strand. However, if this yarn was a bit thicker than this, I would have loved to just use one strand because this project really thrives with lightweight yarn, but we would make do. For hook, I'll be using my 3.0mm hook, and if I do switch, I'll let you know in the video. I would also be using some stitch markers. I'll be using darning needle, and you'd also be using your measuring tape, very important, a pair of scissors, and an important ingredient for this beads. I'll be using some of these beads and I'll show you how to use them. Without further ado, let's get straight into making the dress. So to start, we actually need 2 cups. I've made one already and I'll quickly show you guys how to make the other one. However, I would be quite brief and I would not over explain because I have a tutorial on how to make perfect crochet cups for bralettes and dresses like this. I will leave that linked in the description and have it pop here on the screen if possible. So you check that out if you're a total beginner and this or whatever I'll explain is too fast for you. So I would start off by making a slip knot, and the first measurement we need is our underbust measurement. So what you want to do is divide your underbust by 4. For this dress, I'm using an underbust of 30.5 inches, and when I divide that by 4, I get 7.6 inches. So you want to make a bra cup that has a base that stretches to almost 7.6, but not quite yet. So for that, remember I've done 1 cup already, so it's quite easy for me to know how many to do in the second. I will just start off by chaining 14. And this chain 14 is equivalent to 3 inches, and 3 inches for me is the measurement from nipple to underbust, which is the starting chain you need. All this is fully explained in the perfect cup tutorial, so do check that out. After chaining 14, I will chain 3 extra and it counts as a stitch. So to work round 1 of the cup, I'll just twist my chain because I like to work in the back bump, and on the 4th chain from the hook I would make 1 double crochet and then make 1 double crochet in every chain leading to the very top. So if you chain 14, you're supposed to have 13 double crochet aside the chain 3, which would actually be the 14th. So 13 double crochet aside the chain 3, that will be the 14th, and leaving 1 stitch because on the very last stitch or the last chain we would be working something different. So I'll see you once I've made double crochet up until that point. Not counting the chain 3, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and I still have 1 chain left. This last chain you want to make 5 double crochet all in the same space. That's 1, 2, 3, and I will just take my stitch marker and mark the 3rd one. I'll make a 4th one and a 5th one. Now that I have my work twisted this way, my orientation has changed. I'll go ahead and make 1 double crochet in every stitch downwards, and I'm supposed to get 13 double crochets down this way, and my last double crochet will be on the first chain from chain 3. That'll make it a total. So this is just to say you have to maintain the number of chains you started with. Whatever you started with, you should count and make sure it's balanced on both sides and you have the same amount of stitches on both sides. I'm also weaving in this tail as I go. I'll see you guys back at the beginning. I'm at the end and I just made my very last double crochet, and this is all for row 1 of the cup. Now moving forward and in subsequent rows, this is what you do. You chain 3, you turn your work, you skip the first double crochet because chain 3 counts as a stitch, and in the next you make 1 double crochet, and you keep making 1 double crochet till you get to your center points, which was the third stitch in 5 double crochet. At the center point, and what you want to do at every center point moving forward is make 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet, all in the same spot. So moving forward, your center point would be where you changed to. This is where you keep doing this increase of 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. You could go ahead to mark it, but I feel it's pretty visible for me now, so I would not do that again. I would just know where to do it next time. And after that, you want to make 1 double crochet in every stitch downward. At the end, chain 3 and repeat, making rows like this till the base of your bracket, this is the base right here, stretches to your underbust divided by 4, which I've established the one I'm using for this dress is 7.6. However, I wouldn't get to 7.6, so see you in the next clip so you see what mine stretches to and why I stopped there. I'm back and I have 2 cups. As you can see, they are pretty small because my client has a small-ish body. I think she's a small to extra small, and I just want to measure it out for you guys to see. So we were aiming for 1 out of 4 of our underbusts. Mine was 7.6. When I stretch this out, I get 7, and the remaining 6 inches would be accounted for in the fact that we still have 1 row unworked. However, that would be a half double crochet row, and also we're not joining exactly at this point. We're going to do a little beading details, as you could see in the thumbnail. So yes, let's do that. You want to work a second cup first of all. I have my 2 cups ready, and you could detach your yarn from your first cup, but for your second cup it's good you leave it on. After making the 6th row, or however many rows it took you to get to your measurement, I discontinued for a bit, but let me just insert my hook right back there. Chain 3, right, turn your work, and now we're going to work half double crochet just like we worked the double crochet, but this row I just don't want to add so much to the height of the cup because we actually have what we need. I just need to get to the other point. So if you don't mind adding to the height of the cup, you could work a row of double crochet, and if you're really pressed not to even add at all, meaning like you've gotten your exam measurement but you just need to do this step, you could work this row in single crochets, but half double crochets right in the middle and sits fine for me. So we'll do 1 of that in every stitch, and when we get to the midpoint like we've been doing, we will do 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet, and I'll meet you when I'm close to the end point where we would be attaching our beads to make the center beading detail. I'm back and I'm almost done. As you can see, this is where I am. I've worked up until this point, did 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double, and I'm almost this way, but we have to insert our bead right about now. And how I do that is that I make sure I end my yarn. So if your yarn is coming from a yarn ball, you have to cut it off, but not before pulling majority. Like I pulled out a lot of yarn that would enable me to have double crochets on the other cup as well. I don't know if that makes sense. So I can't tell you how much to pull, but just estimate how much it took you to do from here up until this point, and pull out that and then some. And when you have a tail end like this, you want to take your hook, and then the beads you want to put in the center, in the order you want to put them. So this is how I want to go, like this. and you put it through this end yarn right here. Just latch your hook on your yarn like that and pull through. So you pass this all the way through all the yarn that you've pulled out. So this might be a lot of yarn, depends on how much you pulled out, but you just want to pass the beads all the way through till you're close to this point. Then you continue working. So I have just 3 double crochets to go. I'll just shift the beads a bit. 3 half double crochets rather. I'll make the third, the second to the last, and the last. And after doing the last one, you want to chain 3, pull up a loop, and then you just want to make your beads pass through. But how I do this is that I insert my hook right through the opposing ends of the bead and pull through this loop I have created. So I'll just pull through, making sure both, because I'm using 2 strands, so making sure both strands make it out to the end. Oops, you see, one strand gone missing. So I'll just do this and pull up a good strand. So I still have 2 chains. This is my third chain. Let's pull up quite a loop and then go through this end of the beads and through this that you've pulled and pull through. So when it's, oh sorry, I hope you guys saw that. So when it's on the other end, you can now push the beads all the way down and then you can adjust your loop. So 3 chains is enough for me, but if your beads are bigger, assume the bigger the beads, the more chains you have to do. So you can just keep testing this. However, don't make such long chains because this is also a gap you're feeling for the underbust, so your cup still sits where it's supposed to sit. You don't want to make it, you don't want to make such big gap you're having loose cups. Okay, so 3 does it for me, because if I scoot here a bit, I can still see my third chain. So yeah, that's okay for me. And to continue, I would just make sure my second cup is facing the right side, because you have to make sure your stitches are worked in the right direction. This was the back, so the new stitch is supposed to be worked here. And I think I can chain 1 to just move forward, and you would just go ahead and work a half double crochet on the last stitch of this cup by preparing a half double crochet, yarning over, insert it right here. I'll try to weave that in as I go. Pull through, yarn over, pull through the 3 loops on your hook. Let's see how that looks. I've never done this beads thing before, like beads in the middle, but I feel after you do it, there's no going back because of how pretty the detailing is. So let me work a couple more stitches and see if I am fine with how it looks. Okay, no, I think the gap is should I do just 2 chains? What do you guys think? I think I should loosen the last chain I did before half double crocheting on the new cup. I have to make sure I don't lose this loop right there. Yes. So I want to loosen this chain. I think just the 3 that I did was okay. I want it tight. I don't want it sloppy. So let me just go ahead and make my first half double crochet here again. Yes, that's a lot firmer. So you would make half double crochet in every stitch, and when you get to the center point, 2 half double crochet, chain to 2 half double crochet, and I'll meet you guys when you are at the end right here. Guys, I am back, and I just want you to see how sturdy this is. So sturdy. I like how it came out. I also got to this point in my half double crochet, and I still have some strand left, so I overestimated, which is good. But if at all your yarn like finishes at any point of working the second cup, you could just go ahead and join it to the body where you cut it from. I use this invisible join method that helps me have less strands to weave in. Like I literally do not weave strands in again, except they come from other spots. But like strands that come from joining yarn, I don't deal with that problem again. I have a tutorial on how to do this. It's on my channel and I would leave it linked in the description. So go check that out. But yeah, I just joined my yarn back to the yarn ball because this time it's time to work and we're not breaking again, not anytime soon. So what I want you to do is measure this out, measure both cups now that they are joined. I've measured mine, and when slightly stretched, I have about, so my camera does not cover the whole of it, but no, I am stretching it a bit, and I have about 16 inches. So this is good for me because my underbust was 30 inches. Remember, that's how we got a quarter of it, gave us these 2 cups. So 30.5 basically. So when I do 30.5 divided by 2, it's 15.25 thereabouts. So 16 quite covers my front. So what is left to account for is my back, right? And for the back, I would have straps. So what I do, or what I take into consideration, is the strap has to have a passage like this, so the lacing would show. So for that, I would subtract 4 inch for both sides. 4 inch is quite a lot, but I would still do an edging around it. So that might result to about an inch on both sides, leaving it to 3 inch on each side, if that makes sense. So we'll have about 6 inch space, which is not too big. When you lace it, you putting in mind crochet also stretches. So when you lace this, it's not so big. It would all come together. I should have started with a paper. So for underbust, it's 30.5. Let's just say 30, right, to avoid confusion. So I already have 16, and if you remove 16 from 30, that is 14 inches, and I'm saying I need 4 inch on both sides for the, like, I will not work anything for 4 inch on both sides. That's 8. So when you remove 8 from this, you have 6 inches. And now that you have 6 inches, that means you have to add 3 inches on 6 divided by 2. That's 3 inches. You have to add 3 inch extension on both sides that will go through the back. Now look, I have 16 already. I would add another 15 to cover my whole underbust because it's not a covered gown, it's a lace front. So that's why I accounted for the lace, which is taking about 8 inches, and that's why I'm now left to figure out what will be left if I account for the lace. That's 6 inches, and I split that both ways to get 3 inches. So what I want to do now is make a chain that would equal 3 inches on this side and on this side. However, the stitch we're working here is a shell stitch and it requires a specific number of chains. So I have to put that into consideration as well. The stitch is a multiple of 4. So you just want to do chain 4 in multiples. So 4, 8, 12, 16, like so. So let me see. I know 14 chains gave me 3 inches here. So let me see. But 14 is not a multiple of 4. So let's see. Let me do 14 first. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Mind you, there will be a lot of mistakes. I would correct myself a lot because this is my first time trying it out. I would edit parts that are confusing, but I would also leave parts where I correct myself. So you see, it's not rocket science, and I also just try to replicate these designs as I see them and just do my own little calculations. After chaining 14, I would measure it out to see. It gives me 3 inches, which is okay, but it's not a multiple of 4. So what to do? Mind you, multiple of 4, but I want my first double crochet to be chain 3. So what does that mean? This is how I know I need a multiple of 4. I know to work that stitch I have to have 3 chains in between, and I'll be having 4, and I'll be putting the stitch on the 4th chain. So let's say this place definitely has to have one of the stitch because this is the body of the cup, so 1 stitch must be there. Then this is 1 2 3, mean I'll skip that 3, and another stitch should be here. I'll skip this 3, and another stitch would be right here. I'll skip this 3, and another stitch would be here. Sorry. So now I'm left with 2. I don't want to reduce this because that will make it too short, but I can increase it a bit because remember we have 6 whole space for the lace, so I can take out of that a bit. I had 2 left, right? Now I know I need 1 more to make it the space, so that's 3 I have on the base. Now I need to find the last stitch because the last space also has to be a shell stitch. I know this does not make sense, but just keep on watching. So now I have the space in between, just like I have here, and I have this stitch. I now have to find a place for this stitch. So this is 1 chain. This is where the stitch would lie, and then I will chain 3 to be the double crochet, the first double crochet of the stitch, because the shell stitch I'm working here is 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Okay, so now that I've done this, I will just go ahead and count how many stitches it took for me to get here, because remember I have an other side. So apart from this chain 3, because it counts as a double crochet, and right on the other side I wouldn't need that, right? So I just counted, and it's a multiple of 4, that is 16. So aside this chain 3, I have 16 stitches all the way to this point. And now I will just remove the stitch marker, and on the I've chained 3, right? So on the 4th chain from the hook, which is right here, I would make another double crochet. I'm saying another because the chain 3 counts as the first one, and I'll chain 1, and in the same space I'll make 2 more double crochets. Now to get from here to the next stitch, I'll chain 1. I can remove all these stitch markers. I was just trying to calculate. They are not really essential. So I know it skipped 3. So I'll go ahead and 1 2 3, and in the 4th chain I'll make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So I'll chain 1, skip 3, 1 2 3. In the 4th I'll do the same thing, make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. I'll chain 1, skip 3, 1 2 3, and in the 4th I'll do the same thing, 3 double crochet, sorry, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Now because we've calculated properly, you see in between here and this point we have just 3 chains, so you graciously skip those 3, and right there, now working on the body, you'd make 2 double crochet. Oh sorry, I forgot to chain 1. So you chain 1 in between the shell and also in when skipping, so your work is not bunched up. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So now you chain 1, and now that we're on the body, how do we know to skip 3? So right in every row of double crochet, I normally would make 2 single crochet if I was just cleaning up, but now that I'm working these, I'll still count each row as 2 stitches. So I have one extra stitch here. Now on this row I have 2 stitches, so I've skipped 1 2 3, and right here I would make my V after chaining 1. Oh yes, I've done that. I'll make a V by 2 double crochet. I say V's, I say shell, potato, potato. Chain 1. So this is 1. I've skipped this row because it's 2, and then right here I'll make 2 double crochet. And don't judge your work by the first V, because by the first shell row it would look like this. Like if you've worked shell, you know it quite bunches up like this, but after working a couple more rows it straightens out. So yes, also if you want the long and short, if you don't want to do the whole calculation we did, right, what you have to do here is just chain a multiple of 4 plus 3 extra. The 3 extra will count as a chain, and you want to skip 3, make a shell in every 4th stitch. That's it. I just explained how I know it was going to be a multiple of 4 to you guys. So anytime you hear people say multiple of 5, you'll be like, how did they come up with these multiples? How do they know what to do? This is how I know what to do. I don't know about other tutors, but practice, practice, practice. So skip here, here, and here, like this, and I'll do this till we get here. You guys, my mic went off, but I'm almost here. Right here I have to work something like a bridge to connect it, and I realized an error I made here. So this is fine, this is great, but when I come back around and I work the last V right in this space, it would be left without structure. So I'm supposed to have a double crochet start and end every row. So on that note, we would just undo this. The mistake is not grievous because I would not repeat all I've done after this. I just want to account for where the double crochet would be. By the way, my mic went off, so pardon whatever noise. I'm trying to be as loud as possible. So it's still going to be skip 3, make the double crochet shells in the 4th chain. But now, right, after 16 chains, this chain 3 that acted as a double crochet would be the skip 3. Then we'll have another chain 3 that will act as the main double crochet. So that's 16 plus 3, that's 19, plus extra 3. This 3 is a double crochet. No, sorry, 4, because we're supposed to have chain 1 in between. So this 3rd chain right here would be, this marks our double crochet. Then this 3 underneath marks the skip 3. This chain 1 is the chain 1 in every space. So after chaining 7 extra, a multiple of 4 and 7 extra, you make your shell right here. So you see I still have loops from where I made them before. I'll just do that till I'm back where I stopped. Everything else is the same way, but now I've made a double crochet. So when I come back around, after making my shell here, I will chain 1 and make a double crochet right here. There's chain 3 at the base of this, and chain 3 stands as a double crochet. So everything else the same way. I'll meet you back here. And what you have to do now is figure out how much you need to chain to get from here to here. I want you to take into cognizance where you stopped. So I stopped here, and having stopped here, I have how many imaginary stitches left? So if I was making a single crochet in every one, I have 1 left for this row and 2 left for this row. So that's 3. And also note that because you stopped here, you have to make sure you start at the same point in the replica cup, which is right here for me. So you might want to mark that. So now, how many chains should you make to get from here to here, and that when working your 3rd row you could also put your shell stitches in comfortably? Remember, the shell stitches are a multiple of 4. So when you chain 4, that will be skip 3, put 1 shell in the 4th one. Then you chain another 4, that will be skip 3, put 1 shell in the 4th one. So you already have 2 shells now and 8 chains. and I want just 2 shells in the middle, right? You can't immediately put your next shell here. You have to chain 3 extra because there's always a skip 3-ish in between. So after chaining 3 extra, you can now put your shell here. So that's a total of 8 plus 3, that's 11. Now I do this because I know I want 2 shells alone in the middle. But if you want more than that, if you want 3 shells, that will just be the amount of shells you want multiplied by 4, because in multiple of 4, then plus 3. That's the formula for getting this part. Also, I want to do something else before we proceed. I want you to take another yarn, which is not this one, and attach it right here at the very last stitch of the second cup, and you would make a chain that would equivalent this chain you need here. So when you get here, you already have the chain waiting. I did this in my bralette tutorial, my basic bralette tutorial. I'll have that linked in the description if you're looking to make a bralette of your own. So I have my yarn here, and I would make a slip knot with it. And when you do the calculation for this part, we have a multiple of 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16 plus 3 extra and 1. So right here we would not be making chain 3 because it's the end. We'll put in a double crochet. So a multiple of 4 plus 4, that is 20. So I'll just be making 20 chains here. I'll insert my hook right there and chain 20. So you go ahead and do however many you did for this point, do it on the flip side. After doing that, you want to cut off your yarn. And now we can go back to working the main body. So we agreed to chain 11 if you want just 2 shells, and I'll do just that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I'll come right here, making sure it corresponds with where I stopped here, and make 1 shell. So I can remove my stitch marker, and right there I'll make a shell stitch. I'm making 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. I think I'm poking at a stitch there. You'll have something like this. You want this to droop a bit. Actually, you don't want it to be tight, so that's what the style is. It droops a bit right there. I hope it works. If it turned out that I do anything more, I would explain, or if this does not work, I would explain as we go. But you want to go ahead and chain 1, keep making shells in between, and when you see this, you see it works just like you did it on this part because you started right where you stopped, right? So if you miss the first one, you will miss everything else. But if you do it according to how it is, if you try to replicate the cup, you get it perfectly. So guys, when you get to the end and you count, I have 1, 2, 3, and the very last one will be right here where I inserted my hook to make a chain. So just same place as this point. The last one, or the first one on the body right here, would be same place here. So you just make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet on same spot. And after doing that, you would go ahead and skip 3, chain 1 first, then skip 3 on your chain that you've made. So I work on the back bump and it's already turned for me. So this is 1, 2, 3. In the 4th, I would make my V, and you do this till you have your last 4 stitches. I'll see you right there. After working the last set, you will chain 1 and skip the last 3 stitches. My construct keeps mixing with me, and in the very last stitch right here, you would make 1 double crochet. So I'm trying to pick the back bump of that right here. You'd make 1 double crochet, and with that you would have finished the chain you made. So I just want to chain 1 and let you guys see what we have going on. It does not look the best as of right now, but this is what it looks like. So after working this to the next row, you chain 3 extra. That's because I chained 1, so you chain 4 in total. So that's, no, this is 4 for me. So 3 counts as a double crochet and 1 extra for the chain 1. And in this chain 1 spaces in between the V's, you go and make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, then you chain 1 for in between the V's, and in the next V you make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So this is the pattern, and you do this up until this spot. I'll show you guys how to navigate this at this point. And what I'll do right here, where we get to the chain part in the middle, it's either you make double crochets for all the parts. So I see some people, or in some inspo, where they have 11 double crochets. That same amount of chains you made, you make double crochets to replicate it. Or you could just go ahead and make your V stitches. But I think if we make the double crochet, it kind of drops a little and it does not stand. And if that will give us an edge, I think we should go for that. So I won't bother going in each chain. I'll just go through the loop and make 11 double crochet, or however chains you made, same amounts, just make double crochets in it. So this is the 4th for me, 5th, 11. So this just acts to like fold the chains a bit. You get it, just makes it drop a little more instead of just working the V. So we work the V's on the 3rd row now. But after doing this, you can chain 1 and make your V's like you've been doing, just like you made it before the chain space. You chain 1, you make it again. When I get here and I make 1 double crochet, I'll chain 1, make 1 double crochet on the 3rd chain, then I will chain 3 plus 1 extra, make V's all the way till I get back here, and I'll show you guys what to do here. I'm back at this part, and what I'll do is chain 1, skip, so this chain 1 represents this, skip 3 stitch, and on the 4th I would make the shell by making 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. I'll chain 1, skip 3. On the 4th I'll make the shell, chain 1. Now skip what's left, the remaining 3 stitches, and right here you make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and keep up the pattern till the end. And it may bulge a bit like this, but this is what I wanted, for it to just droop a little based off the inspo picture I saw. That's what was happening. I wanted to replicate that. So with this, you keep working V stitches in every chain 1 space in between previous V stitches, and chaining 1 after every V stitch as well. So you chain 1, make a V stitch here, chain 1, and when you get to the end, you chain 1, make a double crochet, then chain 3 to stand as a double crochet, chain 1 extra for the chain 1 space, and continue the pattern. You would work this till you get this to the length of your waist. So the entirety of this, the length of this should be hitting right on your waist, and that is when we would proceed. Hi guys, so I am actually done with this dress and something happened. I probably must have left a disclaimer at the beginning of this video now that you're watching it, because I wouldn't want you to start making this with the idea that I completed the tutorial, recorded a full tutorial, and you don't get one. So I would leave a disclaimer. Also, I wanted to just scrap it altogether, ignore the videos I filmed, but I realized it could still be of guide or help to someone out there, and that's the main reason I just followed through with it. I apologize for any inconvenience this might cause you. I'll just go ahead and explain the dress using the finished piece, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. So this is our finished dress, and I think before my phone crashed, I stopped at the lace part, or you could call it the shell part. So what I did, or what I ended up doing for this part, is that I ended up making 2 double crochet, chain 1. So I think I was chaining 1 in between before, but I realized the client is so small and that would make me not get the waist measurement on point. So what I did instead was 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. I chained 11 at this point. I don't know if I had recorded that. I also made double crochets here for row 2, and it was only in row 3 I started making the shell at the center point. Okay, I did the shell for about, let me take out my tape. I did the shell for about 7 inches, and for me this is just the point below, slightly below her belly button. So from the top of the bra cup to where I stopped the shell is 13 inches long, and at this point it's going to hit her waist, like the aspect or the point of the body where the waist dips, not below the tummy, like where the waist dips on the tummy itself. That's where it's hitting. And when I took my measurement round at that point, it was about 27 inches, and my client's waist measurement is 26.5, so it was 27 when stretched, which was fine by me. And what I then did, I'm just turning back, what I then did here was close it. So at this point I made the shell. This was where the shell measurement had gotten to her waist here. So you want to do this till it gets to the waist of the person, the point where the waist dips. So when I did that, I then closed the shell by making a slip stitch instead of a double crochet, chain 1, turn around. So after making a slip stitch, I then chained 3, turned my work, and started working the shells in round, because before I was working it in rows. So I was working it in round. Whenever I get to the chain 3, I would slip stitch, turn my work again, and then I did that till I got to below her belly button, which is the 13 inches. So when I got here, I had I was done making this, and I just slip stitch. Now I chained 3, turned my work. You would always chain 3 and turn. That's how I end every row. This is my seam line. It's not bad, it's not overly visible, it's just cool. So you would always chain 3 and turn. It works for me perfectly. Then I'll make a double crochet in every stitch. So there was 2 double crochets and a chain 1 space in between. So in every double crochet and in the chain 1 space, that's 5 per shell. I made a double crochet all around. It was still about her waist measurement when I was done there. This is 13. Remember, our waist measurement is 26.5. When we talk it a bit, it's already giving us 28 inches here. So also consider stretch when you do yours. However, we are approaching the hip, and I started to do some increases. I did about 3-4 rows without increasing till I knew I was getting to the hip section. And when I was getting to the hip section, I put some stitch markers at the side, and I started increasing by making 2 double crochet in each stitch at the side. So you'd see there's a slight increase at this point, like it started to bulge a bit. But the thing is, my client is not so big, so after a couple stitches, I did the increases to stretch. Her hip measurement is 34.5, let's say 35 inches. 35 divided by 2 is about 17.5 inch. So I just did the increase up until the point where if I stretched it, it was going to get to 17.5. And when I got that, that's basically all the technicality in this dress. I did not decrease because I didn't want the dress to be pencil all the way down. It was just free flowing based on the inspo picture. My pattern for increase was 2 double crochet in the sides, 1 double crochet in every stitch. So I'll do that. Let's say I'll do that in row. Say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I started increasing in 6. I'll do that in 6 and 7, and in 8 I wouldn't do that. So I do increase in every row. I just increase in 2 row, 1 row, no increase, to just keep it balanced, so the increases are not overly unrealistic, or it's not just at once. So I did that interchangeably. I think I did that for 3 sets. So 2 rows increase, 1 row no increase, 2 rows increase, 1 row no increase. I just did that for 3 times and I got my measurement. But you want to do that up until you get your measurement. And when you get your hip measurement, your hip width on stretch, or depends on the fitting you want, you keep making double crochet rows without increasing or decreasing again. And I did that up until I got to the slits. For the slits, I worked something different. I wanted a closed slit. I didn't just want to stop joining and start going around. I wanted this to lap a bit, and I recorded a tutorial on how to get a closed slit. I'll leave that link in the description. I'll also try to pop it up in the right hand corner of this video. I know this is not convenient. I know this is not an exact tutorial, but I do hope it sheds some light. I walked up until above her knees for the slits, a little bit above her knee, and then I walked the remaining full length of the dress working the slits. The slit is about 22 inches itself, and the full length of her dress is about 57 inches. Another thing is, if a client sends you their full length, keep in mind they are sending it from their shoulder up until their ankle. So you want to subtract the point from the shoulder to the top of the bust, because you're not starting the top from the shoulder, it's only starting from the bra cup. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I would say it. I know someone that will need it will find it useful. Yeah. And for this, I just used 3 strands to work a slip stitch type of I-cord, and I interlaced it. I didn't have to make loops again because these were there. I just worked single crochet from here all the way down up here and stopped here to clean it up. And then for the neck detail, I worked with 3 strands again, and I just chained 200. After chaining 200, I insert the chain in between this chain one on the last stitch of the cup, and just made sure it was 2 equal strands. Then I put my beads. They are not held down at all. It's just the chain is so thick, it makes it strong and kept. You get what I mean? So you want beads that have open holes, because these holes are quite big for it to contain this. And then I still put some stopper beads at the end, you know, something fancy. Thank you all for watching this tutorial. The slits tutorial is out there. I have other tutorials up on my channel that I'm sure you'd enjoy. I normally don't teach like this, but the incident with my phone happened, and I just realized things could happen along the way. So until I get a camera, I would still try to put out tutorials as often as possible. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Thank you for staying subscribed. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Please like this if you gained any value whatsoever. Leave a comment if you have a question or a tutorial request. Also, share this to someone you know who would find it useful. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye, Pookies.
Been a minute since we kicked it, you've been caught up.